Welcome back to Quarantine Cooking. Jason the Chef. Today we have asparagus. We're gonna drizzle some avocado oil on it, some Himalayan pink sea salt, and then throw it in the Breville 400 for about 15 minutes or so till it's nice and tender but delicious. Got sauteed mushrooms going on here. These are gonna be for risotto. We're gonna make mushroom risotto tonight. Yeah, buddy. So you just saute your mushrooms, get them going. Alright, so we have 2 cups of chicken broth in here to 1 cup of arborio rice. So that is your measurement. It's always a 1 to 2 for that. So risotto is super easy. It's just time consuming. The reason why it's time consuming is because you only add about 1/4 cup of broth at a time while this heats up. And that's the secret to risotto. So you drizzle a little bit of oil in there.
So does it make a difference that you're warming this up? What difference does it make?
Yes. So as you heat the rice up to brown a little bit in the oil, you want the broth to be heated as well. It just speeds up the process. The reason why is if you put cold broth in with the hot rice, it takes a little bit for the cold broth to warm up to the temperature that the rice is for it to start absorbing. Hence, therefore, you go with the warm broth, it just speeds the process up a little bit. Because normally this would typically take 50 minutes, but if you warm the broth up, you can cut it down to about 35. So significant time process. Some ribeye steaks with Montreal steak seasoning in there in the water bath. It's 135 for an hour. Once those come out, we'll stick it on the Traeger, smoke them for about 15 minutes. That way you get nice grill marks and a nice little smoke ring on them. Be back in a few minutes. Love you. Bye. Alright, as you can see, the rice is starting to brown up a little bit. That is what you want. So, now you add 1/4 cup, maybe half. Turn your vent on. Okay. So here's the big secret to risotto. Don't add all the fluid at once. Add a little bit as it starts to puff up and soak up some of the chicken. So if you look here, it didn't take that long.
Jumping.
So the mushrooms, you cook until all the liquid goes away at the bottom of the pan. I used 2 tablespoons of butter. Just cooking these until the liquid goes away, then I consider them done. Be back in a minute. The summer's setting in, you need to go hydrated, so drink anything that contains water. Beer contains water. Alright, asparagus. So you drizzle with the oil of your preference. I use avocado because that's what we buy at the Costco. And then you just roll them around, get them well coated. And this is where a lot of people make their mistake is they'll put a little oil on it, drizzle it, not really move it around to where everything gets coated. It's avocado oil, so it's not really going to kill you. Don't worry about that. Now, this stuff, this might kill you. It's okay though.
is sea salt? Doesn't it come from the sea?
It comes from the sea. You just put a little bit on, like that. And did you know this? Ooh, look at that creaminess. That sea salt has an expiration date. So after you season them with the salt, salt. Roll them out like that. You can let them sit for a few minutes. As you see, if you don't use a glove, it gets oily. But you gotta hit them with the worm food. Le garlic.
Worm food? I thought it was worm repellent.
Worm food, worm repellent, worms. Be right back. Sonora desert lifestyle is so brutal. Alright. Mushrooms. So you can see all the moisture's gone. They're not burnt. I fed them to Heather. She likes them. So we just put these in a dish. Yum yum. So we'll get that finished in a second. We'll go over here to the rice. So if we look at it, I added an extra cup of chicken broth. Whatever. I think I had it on too high for a few moments while I was messing with the asparagus, and it cooked some of the broth off too fast. So the reason why I say that, as you can see the rice right now, it's puffy. Before it wasn't. So if the rice isn't puffy, it's not getting to the done stage. Puffiness is getting close to the al dente, how you want your rice. So like I said, I added an extra cup, gave it a few more minutes. And I also have it on low heat. So starch is the key to the risotto. So you have the chicken broth going in there, plumping up the risotto, the rice, and that releases the starch. The starch is your main binder in this. At the very end, when you add the mushrooms, you add a little bit of butter, and you get to add cheese. I like pecorino romano and parmesan. Just a little bit of that. At the same time you add the cheese, you add your seasonings. So I do a little thyme, some oregano, some parsley, and worm repellent. Not food, as Heather's so politely corrected on. And that is my mushroom risotto in a nutshell, and it turns out fabulous. Those people at work who've had it, I hope you've liked it. You didn't die, so there's that. Yeah. The asparagus, so we salted it, seasoned it, oiled it. It just sits on there in the Breville, 425, 11 to 12 minutes. That's it. Come back over here to the water bath beef. We've changed our mind. We're not going to smoke it. Because I'm trying to talk Heather. I know, those damn dogs are noisy. I'm trying to talk Heather into getting me the Traeger 1300. Because that looks super cool. So much bacon I could do on that at once. The amount of beef jerky. But it just costs a little bit of money.
Maybe they'll sponsor you.
They probably won't. I'm a hillbilly redneck who drinks MGD. Who's gonna sponsor that? The people. So we're gonna do a mayo sear. I'll show you what that is in a minute. Be right back. Alright, so we've soaked up all the liquid, nice and plump and fluffy, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. If you get that reference, you're awesome. If not, watch some movies. Okay, so now is the final run for the risotto. This is our add-in stage. So you've got to use butter, you got to use cheese, and your seasonings. Those are the three main. So with butter, you gotta use about 1 tablespoon. Kidding, that's like 3. Your mushrooms. And then we're gonna season. So I got the Madagascar black pepper. As you know from previous videos, I love this stuff. It's better than crack cocaine. Oregano. You don't need much. Parsley. Again, you don't need much.
Has anyone asked for like the actual recipe and measurements?
No. But you can. What's this, you ask? Worm repellent. And time. Because we all need a little bit more time with this COVID.
This cheese smells so potent.
Hmm?
This cheese smells so potent.
Alright, so we have the shredded parm. Just a little dollop, pinch. I'm the new Salt Bay, everyone. You ready? And then Pecorino Romano. So it's like the Swiss Alps. Let it snow, baby. Alright, if you noticed, the one thing I didn't add was salt. Well, that's because your cheese, the hard cracked Parmesan, has a fair amount of salt in it. So don't add salt to this because you'll over salt it. You will not like the way it turns out. So now you mix all this loveliness together, spill some on the floor, son of a gun. And as you see, now it's starting to come together. It's thick. Now you're gonna be like, oh, that looks like risotto. I've had that before. Fun fact, you can make risotto with champagne.
How so?
You replace every ounce of liquid with champagne instead of chicken broth, water, beef broth, whatever. You have it. And you can make risotto that way. So if you want to be super uber fancy and bring me some at work.
Have you ever done it before?
Yes.
Did you like it?
It is fabulous. So you do it with poached apples. So you substitute, like I said, all the liquid with champagne, and you poach apples and cinnamon and butter, and then you dice those up. So instead of mushrooms, you don't add cheese, you add the poached apples instead. Again, your starches from the breakdown of the rice are going to make it nice and thick, but you have a champagne risotto with poached apples.
Did you substitute the apples for pears?
You could, yes. The time I made it, the individual had asked for apples, so we made it with apples. It tasted pretty good, so if you guys are freaks and you want to try it, give it a go. Be right back. Alright folks, it's been an hour since they've been in the bath getting clean. It's time to take them out, dry them off. So these have been in the Anova cooking at 134 for an hour. So medium rare is 125 and well is 145, 140. So I went to 135 for an hour, kind of in between the two. We'll see what we get. So we're gonna cut them open, dry them off, and then the next video you're gonna see us putting the mayo on and starting to sear.
Now the temperature is also because of the thickness.
Yes, they're not super thick. They're about 3/4 of an inch thick. So you don't need like a 2-hour bath time. So if it was 1.5 inches, it would definitely need 2 hours. But it's 3/4 of an inch, so it only need an hour. All right. And we got the asparagus going and the Breville. As you can see, 425, 11 minutes. We're just waiting for it to come up to temp to start. So hopefully by then, the mayo sear on the steak will be done. See you in a moment. Guys, I stuck this in the freezer. Almost forgot about it. You can chew it a little bit. It's tasty. Alrighty. We talked about the mayo sear. So, these are the steaks out of the water bath, seasoned with mozzarella steak seasoning. They're patted completely dry. Mayo on one side, nothing on the other side, because it would stick, kind of like when you make grilled cheese, you don't butter both sides of the bread at once. Medium-high heat. So we go with number 1 and number 2. So this is not on a high heat because you don't want to blast this. And then with this, just nice thin. Because what happens is the food gods come down and kiss this with love, and they make a nice little crust on there. It's a little salty, but tasty, tangy, and lovely.
So do you recommend Hellman's mayonnaise?
Nope. You know, if you lived on the west side of the Mississippi, do whatever you want. It's obvious they do because they eat Hellman's, and that stuff isn't mayonnaise. Let me tell you now. I hope to God they never sponsor one of these videos. I mean, let me just say this. No one has yet to sponsor one of these videos. Maybe someday. But I hope it's not Hellman's. Because I talk enough smack about them.
But you really do like best foods, and that's all that matters.
Amen. I'm on this side of Mississippi, not that side. Be back in a minute. Alright guys, so that was about 4 minutes on one side, and that's with the mayonnaise seared. You know, I'm not really worried about the cholesterol, because they can go in and root me out. It's all about what you can eat. Be right back. We still got 3 more to go. Alright, here is the final product, the asparagus. Mushroom risotto on the steak with some mayo sear on it. Yeah, delicious. More asparagus. Have this plate. Have they eaten asparagus because it's yum yum. Moon's already devoured 2 steaks, so she must like it. Alrighty. See y'all later. Bye bye.